Hello, 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 you guys. I hope everybody is doing well. I am just uh, looking at my I don't know what you call this thing, browser, this OBS thing. So I'm trying to open up the chat so that I can see you guys if I catch you and you guys catch me live, should I say? And that way I'll be able to actually interact. This new interface is very interesting, I think. But so, um, I hope that your day is off to a bright and productive start, and that everything that you intended to get done in this morning, up until the afternoon, is off to a bright and productive start as well. Um, Positive vibes your way. It's a lot going on in the world, like literally. You know, it's crazy. It's hard to kind of come on and continue to like spread positivity and positive energy and everything, and talk about things around mental health topics and just life topics in general without feeling like personally disturbed. Sometimes I'm disturbed. That's what it is. Sometimes I'm disturbed by the chaos that is constantly going on in this world that we live in. But so I want to know what you guys are getting into this weekend. I want to know what kind of plans you guys have. And for those of you who are in the Atlanta area, who are in the more mature community, I want to know how many of you are planning to go to the throwback prom 80s event at Fernbank, Atlanta on the 26th. It's next Friday. That's what I know. If you've gotten your tickets and everything now already, and you've already started putting together your wardrobe and what you're going to wear, date, or pair it up with friends, etc. But for a second, I figured I'd come on here and I'd talk about conflict resolution and suicide prevention. So, how it is that we show up for people that we're connected to, we love, we care about in um, a positive way. We have, positive affect towards them, and even people that we really don't like much, right? But we still love them and we still care about them because we're connected to them. They're a part of our system and we're a part of theirs. I think it's important to know what to do when people find themselves in those helpless and hopeless situations, just as a layperson, not a clinician. Sometimes we need to know how to properly link them to resources, by connecting them to the National Suicide Line or your therapist or the local emergency room. Um, and when in doubt, I always say just dial 911 because 911 can connect you to those resources as well. Um, but yeah, sometimes life is hard and people just are overwhelmed. It's too much to deal with. It's a lot of chaos. Sometimes things don't go your way, and that makes it extremely difficult to gauge and deal with life in general. I think that we have to accept that, but also accept the fact that sometimes we have to limit the amount of exposure that we have to those types of events and the depths in which we hold ourselves responsible for showing up for those people. So, I encourage you guys to just hold space if you have the capacity to hold space, but explore within yourself whether or not that's something that you can do at this phase of your life, this stage of your life, etc. So that is all that I have around that piece. Let's move on to the conflict resolution piece. As far as conflict resolution, I want to encourage you guys to keep in mind that in order for us to effectively communicate, especially during the times of conflict, we have to create safe spaces for the healthy dialogue to prevent itself. Conflict arises when we don't necessarily agree with the other people that we find ourselves engaging in a dialogue with. And a healthy dialogue could easily take a turn and shift and go in a negative way. But keeping ourselves in check our emotions in check, utilizing I statements properly, and then accepting people for who they are and where they are in our process and their process as well, helps us to be able to move through conflict communication in a more healthy way or a more congruent way and get what we need from communication. And that's just simply to be heard. I think that if we have a unrealistic expectation of other people, it sets us up for failure in communication in general, and especially during times of conflict, right? You're already at odds. You don't want to make it harder than it has to be. So, during those scenarios, I will give you three keys that are tried, true, tested. These are the things that work, period. The first one is knowing a safe word, developing a safe word with you and those people that you're connected with so that they know when it is that, I mean, what it means when you're saying this particular thing in the middle of an argument. But also, they know that you're not stonewalling them. You know, you're not creating space for them not to be heard at all and you not to get your message across at all. You're not completely cutting off the access to the dialogue. You're just saying that you recognize, and they may not recognize, that you're not your best version of self in order to continue to engage in this communication attempt. So that safe word might be oranges, grapes, ugh, dang, or whatever. And once they recognize that word, it shuts their amygdala down, which is their hostility, or should I say angst meter or response system to proposed threat. It shuts it down, so the defensive and hostility that previously existed as far as their position no longer exists. And then it allows you to reestablish communication at another time, right? So you guys can set a time, and that's the second step. Set a time to come back to it, because at the point where you hear the safe word, you are disconnecting, right? So set a time for you to come back to it, and keep, honor your commitment, right? Keep your commitment, show up at that time and place wherever you guys have agreed. And then in the aftermath of that, the third step is to, in safe space and safe communication, allow this to be an anesthetic space for you to actually model the behavior that you would like to see by that person by being the listener. Hear them out and then give them what you heard. Not necessarily reciting verbatim word for word, but give them a summary of what you took from their message and seek clarification. You know, and what that looks like is, hey, what I think you are saying is, you know, when we were engaged in a communication at on at whatever place on whatever date, you felt like you weren't being heard around XYZ. And what you wanted to convey was ABC, right? And if you got it right, that person will say, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you took it right. And if you got it wrong, they'll say, no, not quite. And they'll restate the message. And this time you're listening for differences or variances in the initial message that you took. And sometimes it helps to have a notepad, because then you can collect your thoughts and allow them to speak without you interrupting. And so then you give them the new message that you received, or you could even confirm that you're still not getting anything much different, right? And then they can help break down the incongruences that you're receiving, you know, and ask you the question of where did you take this from? And you can pinpoint in the communication where it is that you took that from what they said, right? And in doing that, you're creating space for them to finally feel validated, not invalidated, but validated, right? You're giving them back what you took from them. And if you are confirming that you took the right message, great. If they are confirming that, you didn't take the right message, but now they're giving you another message and you then get it right, it's saying that they've been heard, and it's saying that now they're kind of de-escalated. You know, they feel better about communicating with you, even around this conflictual situation that has arisen, right? So do that, and then you guys just swap places. Essentially, now you become the speaker, they become the listener, and in the aftermath of both of you finally hearing one another out, create spaces for you to ask the question of, what do you now want me to do with what it is now that I now understand you saying? And if you want to take action, create an action plan and stick to it. But we have to remember to be people that are men and women of our word, men, women, transgenders of our word. I'm always going to get that wrong, you guys, always. Whatever we are. However, we identify, we will be people who hold true to their promises. Okay. So that is all that I have today. I hope that it was beneficial for you. And if it worked out for you, if it was beneficial, hit the like button, share the content, and yeah, that's it. Go forth, be great. Have a great weekend. Let me know in the comments if you guys are intending on attending the um, throwback prom. I'm really excited about that. I am going. I hope to see you there. And that is all that I have. Later days.